हाँ ओके ओके हाँ वो ठीक है आगे आगे सर ये स्क्रीन शेयरिंग एबल कर दीजिए।
हो गया सर, वो मैंने कोर्स बना दिया आपको।
अच्छा ठीक है। हाँ डन थैंक यू सर ठीक। Okay, so let us again start our post, session. Okay, so we will take up one specific problem definition today. Uh, okay, fine. So I think students. Okay, so we will take a topic on problem definition. So I think by this time we have understood that what is a research, at least what is research, the fundamentals of research, how we do, what are the process, and how to understand. Now we will go into greater details. We will discuss the nitty gritties, variables, different types of variables, the relationship between them. So let me take my pen. Okay, okay, fine. So now what I will do is that I will start with a small caselet sort of, just a situation, right? So I will give you a situation, and from that I will, so this topic is how to determine the research objective. If you have observed that in the previous session I discussed that research cannot be done haphazardly. So research has to be done on the basis of some, first of all, scientific method, and there will be some fundamental research objective on which you do research, right? So how to generate this objective, that is my today's topic. This topic we will try to elaborate on the topic that how to get a research objective, right? Now see, in organizations face different problems. Different organizations at different point of time may face problem. So I will take one HR problem. I will take one HR problem to understand. So this company it's a trucking company, it's a supply chain company, and it has a recruitment problem, right? So the company is showing some recruitment problem. What is the problem? See, just I will tell you that how to, so my broad topic is research objective. How to determine research objective. हम research objective कैसे निकालते हैं, that is my today's topic, right? Now, so how to get a research objective, just like, suppose I will give you a very simple example so that you can comprehend. See, suppose whenever we have a fever, we go to doctor, right? What does the doctor does? The doctor will tell you do certain tests, right? You do this test, you do that test, and then he will just try to take. Now fever can happen due to many, fever can happen due to, say, different reason. It can be due to, say, you are having not having a proper digestion, you are not having, say you are having corona, you can have fever. Okay, so you are having, say, some infection in your body, you can have a fever, right? You are having any disease can show fever, right? So which is a, so what does a doctor does? A doctor will see the symptoms, right? And try to understand that what is the, what does the doctor does? He do this, he tells the patient, you go to the lab, do this test, come back after 4 days or 2 days, right? So the patient goes and come back with a report, right? And What does the doctor then does? Then he try to diagnose. Please understand this process. The doctor actually try to diagnose that fever happened due to actually what, due to what is the reason, whether it is an infection or it is a stomach problem, or it is a, say, corona. Fever is due to corona, the patient is having corona, or it is due to malaria or dengue or whatever it is. What is, so actually what the doctor want to do, he want to do the proper diagnosis. See, research will come from very common sense. There are different terminologies. Don't get frightened by these terminologies. They are not very difficult. So they are very easy. I just tell you. Just do the analogy with a doctor. What does, all of you, I think, have gone to a doctor and taken some medicine or something. Now see the process. How, what does the doctor does? Then he will diagnose that what is the actual cause of the fever. Fever क्यों हो रहा है? And then he will give you some medicine, and he will tell that, okay, after 5 days or 7 days, 1 week, have this medicine and then again come back. Same is the process of research objective, right? Whenever any researcher, right, whenever any researcher or manager wants to do a problem, wants to find the problem, what is the problem, right? So that is the process. So from the symptoms, some tests are done. From the symptoms, from the test result, it is confirmed that what is the actual problem. So in organization also, there can be different problem, there can be different symptoms. Just I give you some example. Suppose the sales is going down for a company. Now sales can go down due to different reasons. It's not there is only one reason. There may be, say, employees are leaving the company, and the company has to recruit, every month they, or say every 6 months the employees leave, and so they have to recruit every time. That is a problem. So the cost of the company, recruitment cost, is going high. One can be problem, right? So different problems. So in business research, we understand the problem by different steps. I will come to the steps. That is the 6 fundamental steps. Just I will give you the name, but okay, let me just give you the steps. These are the fundamental steps. All of you, you can take a note, or if you want, if you understand these 6 steps, you will understand the whole of research problem. This is called the, so today's topic is problem definition process. How will I define as a researcher that there is a problem in the organization? So these are the 6 steps. I will discuss at length. I will discuss for in each one of the section. I will discuss, right? So just go through this. Just see these 6 steps. These are the 6 steps, 6 fundamental steps. If you understand this, your whole research will be clear. So number 1, understand the situation, identify the key symptoms. First, the key symptoms is identified. Identify the problems from the symptoms. What are the symptoms? How to identify? I will show you. Write managerial decision statement and corresponding research objectives. So we will learn what are this. What is a decision statement? What is a research objective? What are the symptoms, right? How to next determine the unit of analysis. What? So next we have to just steps. Determine the unit of analysis. Number 5, determine relevant variables. And number 6, write research question or research hypothesis. So these are the steps. These are the steps. of problem definition process. This is the total problem definition process. Now, how do we do that? So I will do that with the help of a small case so that you understand it very well. Okay. So just I will, it's not just a caselet, it's just a situation actually. So this is the situation. This is the situation. What is the situation? Now, it is a, now see, it is a specific company. What is the company? It is a trucking company, Deland Trucking. It's a trucking company. So what is the name of the company? Deland Trucking. What is the problem? Recruitment problem. Please look at my slides. So the trucking company has a recruitment problem. Now, what is the problem? Recruitment. So they see the symptoms in this company, in this trucking company. The manager sees some symptoms. What are the symptoms? These are the symptoms. This cost of recruiting cost. Why are our recruiting costs so high? This is the manager is facing this problem, that the recruitment cost of drivers is increasing in the Deland Trucking company. This is the symptom. This is the symptom. But see, cost for driver selection and recruitment have not gone up. The cost has not gone up, but the recruiting costs are high. Suppose in some year, right? In some year. So previously it was not happening. Now what is happening? There the cost is going high. So this is one symptom the manager understood. So the company, so this is the situation, right? This is the situation that in some year, in current year, the manager sees that their recruiting cost is high. So this is the symptom, and he want to find out what is the problem, actual research problem. Okay. So,
सर एक डाउट था.
I am not completed yet.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
After I complete, I will stop only. Okay, you hold on your question.
Okay, sir.
Because see, if you don't listen to the whole, it's a step. It's a long-term process that you need to understand. After that, you ask as many questions as possible. Okay. So, is the company problem clear? Company is facing a problem, that is the symptom, that recruitment costs are going high, right? That is there. Now, so let us now understand some definitions. Let me explain you some definitions so that you can understand. So decision statement. What is a decision statement, right? So decision statement is a written expression of the key question that the researcher user wishes to answer. So decision statement is a statement which the researcher is going to do research upon, number one, and problem definition. So decision statement is just a statement which the researcher wants to do research. Problem definition. What is problem definition? This is our whole topic. Today, the whole session will discuss on problem definition. So the process of defining and developing a decision statement and the steps involved, please read it very carefully, and the steps involved. I will give you the steps. Already I have given you the steps, 6 steps. Steps involved in translating it into more precise research terminology, including a set of research objectives. So what is a problem definition? It's a defining and developing a decision statement and the steps involved in translating it into more precise research objectives. So two things are there, decision statement and problem definition. We'll do practically. So we'll do some practical example. So this is just a situation. As you know, I have given you a situation.
So वो फिर से बता दीजिए problem definition.
Problem? This
Problem
one?
definition. Problem definition.
Okay. Problem definition. Process of see, problem definition, it's just translating the decision statement into a set of researchable objectives, right? So that decision statement has to be researchable. So how do we make that translation? That I will explain you. Okay. So now how we go? Now try to understand. Try to understand. There is a situation, right? It's very easy. The manager sees the situation. It's very easy. Situation is what? The sales, recruitment costs are going high. Recruitment costs are high. Now what? How can we define the research objective from them? Now we have to follow our steps, right? For that, from situation. So every company shows some situation. See, very big companies, what happens? They show a situation. It does not happen that a company closes in one day or a company is grown up in one day. Toyota took huge time, huge time period to become one of the leading automobile manufacturer of world in the world. It does not happen overnight, right? Similarly, a company to grow and become a giant company, Maruti, did not happen in say 1 year. Okay, so it takes a huge time and it shows symptoms that yes, the company is rising or the company is declining, right? Try to understand. So situation. So here the company manager, I'm just telling you a case study. It's just a case, small case, so that you can understand. Now research objective, we have to decide. Now how we go for research objective. It is a tougher task. It is a harder task. It appears new. Why it is sometimes happening? Why? Why the recruitment costs are going high? All the managers are in a dilemma. Why it is happening? Is there any change in situation? Right? Could change हुआ है company में? Is there any change? Are the symptoms scattered? Whether the symptoms are ambiguous? So what has happened? So we have to look after many things and then only the objective will come. So problem, what does a problem means? The problem, now I am coming how to understand what is the problem. Very simple. Research problem means when there is a difference between the current conditions and a more preferable set of conditions. That means something has happened. That's why the company is facing problem. What is that something? We are trying to find the difference between current conditions. Why this year the recruitment costs are high? That is our current questions, right? So what is the problem? It's whether there is a difference between the current condition and a more preferable set. पहले क्यों नहीं हुआ था, अभी क्यों हो रहा है? That is the fundamental problem. How to, we need to question it, right? Okay, now I will come to the 6 steps. Now we listen very carefully. Number 1, how to understand the problem. So we will understand the problem in this way. So first we have to understand the situation. Please look at my slide. Look at my slide. We have to understand the situation of the company. What is the situation? Why recruitment costs are high? Identify the key symptoms, right? And then identify the problem from the symptoms. So these are the first 2 steps and fundamental steps. So we will find the problem and then we will go to the next steps, right? So next, this we will discuss later on, the step 3, 4. These are not very tough, but this is very tough. Whenever any organization faces problem, then these two steps are very, very tough. Very experienced managers can only understand that why it is happening. Identify the problem from the symptoms. That's why you see a doctor becomes very good. We say that in AIMS, the doctors are very good. Why they are very good? From the symptoms itself, they can understand. Very good doctors, if you go to a very good doctors, from the symptoms, from your fever, type of fever, they can say what is the disease, whether you are having corona or not. Good doctors, but who are not good doctors, they cannot say, right? So try to understand this very carefully. It's very actually important to understand that why a doctors become a good doctor and why some doctors are not good, right? Here lies the difference. So why some managers can understand that the company is going facing a problem, some managers cannot understand, right? So this, let us understand these two steps first, and then I will proceed. Right. So symptoms. So symptoms, from the symptoms, how to understand the problem. Just we will do a clinical thing. So we do some situation analysis. What does a researcher does? A researcher does a situational analysis. A researcher does an interview process, right? Interview process, situational analysis, or he can identify symptoms or probing, right? So what he does actually, now try to understand what does the researcher does, right? What does a researcher does to find the research problem? He just act as a doctor. So what does the researcher will do? He will gather some information. So what he will do? Number one, situational analysis. Please look at here. The gathering of background information to familiarize researchers and managers with the decision-making environment. Background information is necessary. For the last 5 years, what was happening? Why in the last 5 years? So first, see, I am entering into the case. In the last 5 years, why there was no decline in the recruitment cost? Why it is happening now? The researcher will ask this question. Will gather the information from the managers. Suppose the researcher, sometimes what happens, there are some research firms. Many of you talk of big fours. What are these big fours? I have worked with some big fours. I mean, when I was in the production plant, this Arthur Andersen, Accenture is a company whose name was Arthur Andersen when I was working with Philips Carbon in the 90s, late 90s. So they came to increase our productivity, right? So they came up. It's a research consultancy firm. They are into different verticals, so they came to our company, right? So I have some practical exposure with working with them. I will share this experience also, but let me focus here in the current case. So now the gathering of background. So what they will do? Symptoms, just like a doctor, they will see some background here. What does doctor say? Acha, for the last 5 days, have you done something else? Have you eaten this? Have you done this thing? The doctor will ask you these questions. Similarly, the researcher will also gather some background information. Please look here. Please look at my slide. Background information to familiarize researcher and manager with the decision making. लास्ट 5 साल में क्या हो रहा था, क्यों तब नहीं बढ़ा रिक्रूटमेंट कॉस्ट, अभी क्यों बढ़ गया? नंबर 1. इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस. These are the things that he will do to define the problem. Problem define करने के लिए what the researcher will do? Develop many problem statements, right? He will develop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 problem statement. Think about all possible solutions to the problem. Make lists and try to, from the interview process, he will do these activities. So he will do many interview to the HR manager, to the production manager, it may be to the some supply chain manager, and so different interview will be done, right? Next, Now he will identify the symptoms. Interrogative techniques. Look at the techniques. Number one, interrogative techniques. Number two, probing techniques. So what is interrogative techniques? Very easy. He will ask what, where, who, when, why, and how, questions about what has changed, where it has changed, in which department it has changed, who has changed, whether there any new employee has been recruited, why the new employees are being recruited, when the changes has been done, why not in the last 5 years, why in this year the recruitment costs are going high, and how. So these questions he will be asking to the managers. The researcher will ask to the manager. Probing. And in probing, what is probing? It's an interview technique that, see, look here, tries to draw deeper and more elaborate explanations from the discussion. Probing, asking, right? Various reasons why it happened, in which department it happened, previously what was going on, right? And so on. So what has changed? What changes have occurred? What is this changed? What has brought about this change? How might this be related to our problem? Some might be related to the problem. Some might not be related to the problem. What other changes have occurred recently? Competitors, right? Whether, see, it is connected to competitors also, customers, environment, pricing, promotion, suppliers, employees. What other changes? Suppose competitors have done. Just I am telling you, suppose deal and trucking company is paying X amount of money. Now there comes another company, right? Suppose a company like FedEx comes and they pay more. So what will happen to this company's employees? These employees will move to FedEx because they are getting more payment. So it can happen, anything can happen. So the researcher will keep on asking questions, keep on asking, probing, asking this sort of questions. What has happened to the competitor? What is the salary the truck drivers are getting? Whether the competitors are giving higher salaries, right? Whether they are satisfied with the job. So different question has to be asked, right? So now writing the managerial decision statements into corresponding research objective. So once decision statements must be translated into research objective. So once we can get the decision statement, from the decision statement, we can transform it into a research objective. Research objective. So once decision statement is written, the research essentially answers the question. What information? Okay, so this I have already explained. Yeah. Yeah. Now, any question till now? I think we have discussed many things. So now somebody was asking some question.
सर एक डाउट था.
Yeah.
सर सिम्टम्स तो जैसे वो होंगे ना कि डिक्लाइन इन सेल्स.
Yeah.
और उसके बाद हम लोग उस चीज पे करेंगे कि नहीं प्रॉब्लम क्या है मेन, कि यानी रिक्रूटमेंट कॉस्ट हमारी हाई आ रही है या फिर कुछ और है.
Yes. Yes. Very good.
और फिर उसके बाद उस प्रॉब्लम को रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव में कन्वर्ट करेंगे.
Very correct. Very correct. Very correct.
Right?
So जो भी symptoms आ रहे हैं, we will ask what, that why this year it is happening, right? Why not in the other year? Why? Suppose some competitor is paying high and some employees have left from deal and trucking company. The truck drivers have left. So what is my actual problem? If you just go, if we can go back, see, we started with this problem. What was my problem in my company, trucking company? What was my problem? Yeah. Our recruitment costs are high. This is my symptom. What was my symptom? So now let me discuss. So recruitment costs are high. So now why this? So this can happen due to many reasons. See, research is an open-ended thing. Now, as you very correctly said, that kya ho raha tha? What did happen? It may so happen. Now, after asking question, he can write down 4 objectives. One objective may be number 1. Why costs are high? Because suppose I'm just writing here, but it's very difficult. Some employees left. Okay, some employees left. We can call high turnover, right? High turnover. See, these are just the hunches of the number two. Whenever the employees truck drivers leave, new truck drivers has to be recruited. So recruitment costs, recruiting has a cost. Just I am giving you a practical example. Recruitment cost high. This may be one, but we cannot tell with 100% accuracy, but we can, from the symptom, we can say that as my employees left, as many employees left, now why they left? They were not satisfied. Why they were not satisfied? Because it may be that the payment was not satisfied. They were not satisfied with the payment of the company. Some XYZ competitor is paying high. Many of the employees left the company, and that's why in Dylan Trucking Company, they have to recruit in a year. They have to recruit, and these recruitment costs have gone high. This can be one of the problem, right? So in this way, I can find out my objective, right? Okay, let me just I discuss this just to understand. I am taking this case side by side so that you understand not only theoretical knowledge but practically what is happening. Okay, so we are here now. So we have understood this thing. We have understood the situation. We have understood the problem. Now we can write a managerial statement also. We can write a managerial decision statement and corresponding objective in this fashion. Next step is determine the unit of analysis, determine relevant variables, write research question or research hypothesis. Now I will discuss these 3 steps. These 3 steps. Okay. So we have discussed these 3. Now I will focus on these 3 steps. Okay. Now listen very carefully. So we have discussed probing all this. Yes, very important. Now, please listen carefully. Okay, we are having less time, only 15-20 minutes. Okay. So next, we have to determine the unit of analysis, right? What is unit of analysis? I will explain in simple terms. Definition you can just later read on. See, unit of analysis is nothing but the respondent. Are you understand the respondent? Suppose if I ask you, who are the respondent in my study, in this study? Can anybody tell me who are the respondent?
So employees will be respondent because we are gathering their information. So data जो भी बन रहा है तो वो
Yeah.
उनके.
So truck drivers, employees. So here in the case that I have said given to you, so here the truck drivers are my respondents. Whenever suppose I as a researcher, the researcher will collect data from whom? Are you getting this?
Employees.
Yeah. So if I see, if a researcher wants to get data, he will collect data from whom? From the truck drivers, because the respondents. So I will make a questionnaire, researcher will make a questionnaire, and they can ask that why are you leaving the organizations? They can see the job satisfaction, why they are not satisfied, right? Just I will give you an example, very good example. So let us understand what is unit of analysis. Unit of analysis indicates what or who should provide the data and at what level of aggregation. Suppose I give you, suppose a family wants to buy a home, right? Home buyers in India. So suppose generally who buys a home? Suppose a family means whom? Husband and wife, right? So suppose a researcher is trying to understand the unit of analysis. Who will be the unit of analysis if they are doing a study on home buying? That whatever be the study, say the study may be that this home buyer, what is the satisfaction of the home buyers, right? Whether the home buyers are satisfied, right? So in this study, who will be the unit of analysis?
Families.
Families, excellent. So the husband and the wife, and not only the husband, because see nowadays both the husband and wife are earning, and both of them are buying. So unit of analysis is family, that means husband and wife, right? So the unit of analysis, what is unit of analysis? Unit of analysis indicates what or who should provide the data and at what level of aggregation. Suppose you are doing some study, okay. So suppose you are doing some study on, say, customer loyalty, right? The example that I gave in the morning, if you remember, the customer loyalty in Indian Airlines, right? So who will be the unit of analysis? Yes.
So the person, people, customers, the people who travel.
Customers.
Passengers.
Passengers.
Yes,
Yes,
excellent.
yes,
Who is this? Who is this? Who gave this answer?
So actually it was Dakshveer, because many of us mentioned only customers, but he mentioned the passengers.
No, very good. Customers is also correct, but actually the passenger. Suppose I never fly in the. Suppose I make a questionnaire. I fill it to a person. Suppose I am a researcher, right? I want to study this practicality. You understand the practicality of the subject also. Definition, I will give you a whole lot of definition. You will read, you will pass the exam, don't worry. But if you want to understand the subject, right? Suppose I am doing a study on the customer satisfaction of Indian Airlines, and I have never flown with Indian Airlines, right? Suppose I make a questionnaire, a researcher make a questionnaire, and he goes to a person who travel by bus and train only, who never flies, suppose, right? So will my research be correct?
No, sir.
No, that is my unit of analysis. Suppose I am doing patient satisfaction study, right? And I go to a very young boy, right? Young youth who has never gone to the hospital, suppose, and if I go to make a questionnaire and fill it, ask the person, young man, he has never been admitted to the hospital, and I am, suppose as a researcher, I am doing a study, that patient satisfaction in, suppose, the hospitals of Delhi and NCR. This is my study. What is my study? Patient satisfaction of Delhi NCR, in the region of Delhi NCR, right? And I go to a person, youth, never gone to the hospital, being admitted to a hospital, and I ask him, please fill the questionnaire. Will my study be correct?
No, sir.
No.
No. So we have to actually go to the unit of analysis. So what is unit of analysis? Please try to understand. Indicates what or who should provide the data and at what level of aggregation. It may be customers. In my case, the caselet that I told you, who are the unit of analysis? The employees, because the employees are leaving, right? Because they are getting better job, they are leaving the organization, and the customer and the employee turnover is high. And as the employee turnover is high, the management has to recruit another set of driver, and their recruitment costs are going high. So my unit of analysis in this case are the employees, the truck drivers or the employees, right? It can be household also, it can be organization also, it can be department also, it can be geographical areas. As I told you, I want to do patient satisfaction in the Delhi NCR. So it can be geographical area. So where should I go? Should I go to Mumbai if I am doing study in Delhi NCR? No. I will go to all the hospitals of Delhi NCR and I will collect the data. Clear? Geographical areas. So this is called unit of analysis. Unit of analysis. So in my case, unit of analysis are the truck drivers, employees. Next, variable constant. I think you are some of you answered. Is this clear, or should I discuss variable or constant? Is it clear? Can anybody just in just 2 sentences tell me what is a variable and what is a constant?
So variable will be something whose values changes. Suppose it can be anything like market में certain situations are variable, वो static नहीं रहती. So that will really help us in research वगैरह में. And constant is something whose value is fixed. So वो change नहीं कर रही with time.
Okay. See, from research perspective, variables are those. Definitions are okay. You can read the definitions. They are there. I am not going to read. But simply, I will tell you from the concept what is variable and what is constant. See, I gave you an example of customer loyalty. Does customer loyalty varies from customer to customer? Suppose you are 60 students here or 57, whatever it is, right? Does all of your customer loyalty for suppose all of you are purchasing online these days, right? Suppose if I ask you that whether your customer loyalty is what is your customer loyalty, if I ask you, so different, all the 60 will have different levels of customer loyalty. For some it may be very high, some may be medium, some may be low, right? So it's a variable. Customer loyalty is a variable, right? Suppose service quality, it is also a variable, because service quality may vary from airlines to airlines. What service quality you will get in say, although Kingfisher Airlines is closed nowadays, but what facilities Kingfisher used to give, I think the other low-cost airlines like Indigo and all this Go Air will not get. So service quality in Indigo is different from service quality of Indian Airlines. Again, it is different in say Kingfisher Airlines. So service quality is a variable because it is varying. But what is a constant? Something that does not change is not useful in addressing research question. If something is constant, then it is not going to vary, right? It is not going to vary. So I think you are having knowledge of these things from your quants class. So yeah. Now let us see, we are not having much time. So okay. So we are almost, this thing has to be discussed. This is very important. This I will discuss at length. So dependent, independent variable, are you clear? You need to be clear here. Okay. So Okay, please, some of you tell me, I told you two variables. What are my variables? Customer loyalty and service quality. Which one is dependent and which one is independent here? See, definitions you can read from the books, don't worry. So I have given you two, please listen carefully. I have given you two variables. What are my variables? Customer
The
loyalty.
customer loyalty is dependent.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Who is this? Who is this? You have understood whole of today's lecture. Customer loyalty, and I have given you two variables, service quality. Just for the sake of simplicity, I'm not making it complex. Service quality. Are they variables, first of all? No
Yes,
doubt they are variable.
Yes, sir.
Service
Yes.
quality will vary from company to company. Customer loyalty will vary from customer to customer. So first of all, they are variables, no doubt. Number one. Number two, which one is dependent and which one is independent? So already somebody.
The service quality is
Yeah,
independent.
excellent, excellent, excellent,
Service and independent. Service
excellent.
quality.
So customer loyalty is my are you getting this? If you understand this, you will understand whole of the BRM. Don't worry. So customer loyalty is my dependent variable. I am doing research on customer loyalty, but service quality is my independent variable, right? I want to see the customer loyalty of XYZ Airlines, right? So a process outcome or a variable that is predicted. What I am going to predict here? I am predicting, see, try to understand. I am predicting that if I give this service quality, this will be my customer loyalty. If I can measure in some terms, if customer loyalty, I will tell you. So those are different topics we'll discuss later on. Today, if you understand this much, it is fair, because today is the first day. I will not, I will not give you so many things. It will be very tough. So you understand this thing. So what is my predict? What am I going to predict as a researcher? Am I going to predict customer loyalty or am I going to predict service quality? I am going to predict customer loyalty. So I say, if this are my service in my airlines, my customer loyalty will be this much in some magnitude, high, low, medium, whatever it is, right? Or if I can give some score, right? So if this is my service quality, this is my customer loyalty, right? And so it is also called predicted value. I am going to predict service quality, right? Customer loyalty. Now, please come here. Please come here. Okay, any idea? Continuous variable and categorical variable? Anybody can explain just in one or two sentences? What is a continuous variable and what is a categorical? Yes, any idea? Okay, I think this you have not studied. Fine. Now, continuous variable, if you see, it can take a range of quantitative values, right? So I will explain this. Now, see, continuous variable. Now, suppose I talk about profit. Profit is a continuous variable or a categorical variable. Profit is a continuous variable. Now, what is the definition? It can take a range of quantitative values. Say, I will tell you two variables. Tell me whether it is, first of all, what is a continuous variable? A continuous variable can take on a range of quantitative values, right? Continuous variable. Suppose I tell the attendance of the student in the class, right? Today, suppose the attendance is 57 or suppose something. Tomorrow it may go to 61 Next day it can be say 53. Some other day it can be, so it is a continuous variable. It can take, it is, see, this variable attendance of students is a continuous variable, right? But in the class, I will give very simple example. I say how many boys are, how many male students are there and how many female students are there, right? So it indicates the membership in some group. Either some student will be male and or some student will be female, right? Also called classificatory variable. Classificatory, that means classifications. Categorical, classifications, all are the same names. Category means two category. Suppose Hindu, Christian, Muslim. Some students may be Hindu, some may be Christian, some may be Muslim. This is called categorical variable. All the 60 students I can divide into some category, say boy and girl. I divide the class, try to understand. I can divide the class into two category, male, female. I can divide the class into say three category of according to religion, say Hindu, Christian, Muslim, right? I can divide the category of the class according to different states. Suppose there are students from 6 North Indian states. So I divide the students, some will be from say UP, some from Delhi NCR, some from Haryana, some from Jammu Kashmir, some from Indore, Bhopal, some from Delhi NCR itself. So it's a category. So these are the categorical, this is called a categorical data. Whenever we divide the data into some categories. First, suppose, can anybody tell me that profit, revenue, these will be, this is a which type of variable? Now tell me, profit.
Continuous.
Excellent, excellent. So you have understood, excellent. Profit is a profit, revenue, right? These are
sale will also be there in continuous.
Sales, excellent. Yes, yes, sales is a continuous, excellent. Fine. And finally, the last thing. So now writing the research question. So we have come to our final thing, that is how to write the research objective and questions. So this is our final. So how we write the research questions? Number one, we express the research objective in terms of questions that can be addressed by research. So I have some research objective, right? I will express it in terms of questions. Number two, help to develop well-formulated specific hypothesis that can be empirically tested. See, many important things are there. Please read these lines twice. Help to develop well-formulated specific hypothesis that can be empirically means it can be tested by data, right? So that is my research question. And help the researcher design a study that will produce useful results. So this is the method of writing research objective, research question. So from research objective, we write research question. From research question, we write research hypothesis. That is our final step. And then we test the hypothesis and the process. So if you see just a very brief recall of all the steps. So what we did, just look here. So don't get lost. Now you go through the 6 steps, it will be clear. So first step, what we did, we understand the situation, we identify the key symptoms. Second, we identify the problem from the symptoms. Third, we write managerial decision statement and corresponding research objective. Fourth, we determine the analysis, which in our case are drivers, right? Drivers. We determine relevant variables. What are our variable in my example? Please tell me. Customer. Sorry. In our case, suppose I want to study, if I want to study the driver satisfaction, I can do many research objective can be derived from this. Suppose I want to see the driver satisfaction, right? Driver satisfaction. So this will be my, and the, say, the facilities that they are getting, say the parks, benefits, or whatever, with a driver incentive. I can call it driver incentive. Driver incentive. So what the incentive the driver is getting and whether he is satisfied with that. So driver satisfaction is dependent variable, and driver incentive, how much money he is getting, how much he is getting paid. So which one will be dependent and which one will be independent here? Driver satisfaction will be dependent and driver incentive will be independent.
Independent.
Incentives and parks, benefits, whatever it is, all the employee benefits, basically the benefits, okay, employee benefits, driver benefits. So, and write research question. Now can I write a research question? So what will be my research question? That whether the drivers are satisfied, I can write here my research question, whether the drivers, you can write whether the drivers are satisfied with the driver benefits. So that is my research question. What will be my research hypothesis? My research hypothesis is, if the driver incentive is increased, does the driver satisfaction increase? My research hypothesis. Clear? Is this clear? The total process of problem?
Yes,
Any
sir.
question? Please ask now. Any question? Ask now the questions if you want to ask.
Sir, please explain third point of this category.
Yes?
Sir, please explain the third point.
Third point. Okay. Okay, we are running short of time. I will explain very quickly, or I can take up in the next class. I'm just explaining very quickly. See, the third point is write managerial decision statement and corresponding research objective. So decision statement is a statement. And just if I go back, yeah. So writing, this is the third point actually. Writing decision management objective and management, this one research decision statement, and from the statement to the research objective, right? So how do we do that? What in once the decision statement is written, the research essentially answers the question, what information is needed to address this situation? What information? So in my case, the what information is needed? What salary the driver is getting, what benefits the driver is getting, whether the driver is satisfied. This information is needed for my study. Clear?
Yes.
Any other question? Please make it quick. We are already 3 minutes. I hope pretty clear. I explained each one of the steps. So these are the fundamental steps. These are the fundamental steps. All the 6 steps. Okay. So that's about problem definition, how we define our problem. So this is a long drawn process, right? Whenever we want to do research, we have to follow this process. Okay, any more question or we should wind up? So let me stop share. Yeah. So okay, so I think that's the introductory part. We will many things we will discuss. We have just started the foundation. Many doubts will be cleared in the subsequent sessions. Don't worry. So whenever we start a subject, it becomes a bit, then it becomes clear. So have you understood finally?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Very good. Okay.